So essentially 2019's been about, having some success but not getting carried away and actually reinvesting that back into the brand. Where does 2020 lead you then after that point?
I think after galvanising in 2019 and getting all the systems and processes down pat and not going bankrupt, that's fantastic.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
So good.
Next year for us is about, promotion and growth. So I guess what that means in our craft beer market is that we're a very, very, very small player. We're only a little brewery. We can only do 200,000 litres here in Bulimba and Oxford Street. And that only goes kind of so far. But what we realise is over the past couple of years is brewing beer is probably the easy part. It's actually selling that product and marketing it that is the challenge. And Matty Cuthbert always said that to us in the beginning because he was quite experienced from his history in the industry. And for us, we go out into a big, big, bad world and kind of, it's ripe with opportunity and it's got some pitfalls and we go, well, here's our product. But we're up against people who are craft beer providers and also big beer that are discounting wholesale product, be it cases of beer or 50-litre kegs or 20-litre kegs, to a point where it's almost unsustainable. And it's really hard for us to compete. So I talk to my whole team and I say, well, how can we add true value to our customers without discounting? Because it costs a lot of money to make a keg of beer. And when you're at this, what the realization was is that it's a volume game. To make money in this business, you need to be making a lot of product and selling a lot of product because the margins are really tight. So we ask for more money for our product because it's so boutique and small. But at the end of the day, if you're up with a manager and they've got something that's like half the price or, than what you're selling it for, you know what they're going to go for because they're running businesses too. And it's a long bow to draw to say, I'll just grab that one. And I'm not just talking about big beer. Some craft brewers who are much bigger than us are discounting kegs to a point where it's almost unsustainable. And a great example of that, we were down at BrewCon and there was a lecture that was going on and one of the venue groups said, we don't know how you guys out there actually produce beer and sell it and actually survive because we own a brewery and we cannot produce the beer in a cost-effective way. It's cheaper for us to actually buy beer from you. And they own a brewery and they have a lot of pubs across Australia. So that was probably the most alarming thing that I'd heard since I've been involved in this industry, to be really honest and open with you.
It was kind of like a sit-back moment, wasn't it? You're just like...
Oh, it was a mic drop. Yeah. And I got really stressed about that because I was like, well, so what he's saying really is that we're slowly undermining ourselves by discounting, and little people like us that can do 200,000 litres are competing with true craft breweries that can do over 1 million or 2 million at a price point. But so that's why we struggle day to day with cash flow and why we struggle with actually making a profit to give back to our team, because that's the playing field. So I say to my guys, how do you add value? And that's what next year's about.
Because effectively that's just creating a race to the bottom for everybody, isn't it?
Well, it's unsustainable. It's pushing the smaller guys out and creating a monopoly at the top end of the scale. Yeah. So there needs to be some sort of middle ground.
Yeah. Where everyone can win then.
Yeah.
So and then when you talk about adding value, like how does that happen then? Is it like things like exceptional customer service and giving back to the community? Is it a bit of all of those things?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like we're very, very community orientated here. We're in all the kind of fundraising events and community events and all that kind of stuff around there, and that resonates kind of from here, and then it's starting to move out. Into other places.
And that's really how do you add value? It's a multi-pronged approach. It's firstly and foremost to me, it's about quality. And our beers, we know our unique selling point. It's to, create a beer that is the perfect balance between drinkability and flavour. I mean, all our beers, we even go outside style guidelines because we like to make beers that we really love to enjoy. And I love it when people come in and go, I don't like IPA. I'm like, well, just try mine because it might change your life. And they go and drink it and they go, that's not what I was expecting. Yeah. It's not as bitter as I thought. And you're like, well, no, we're nowhere near that. It's West Coast, it's different, it's tropical, have a go. So product and quality. So one of our big things for next year is how do we double down on our quality program and make sure that is absolutely watertight for what we're doing. And we go and extend that to our partners and make sure that they understand what we're doing in that space. Probably other things about value is, the relationship is really key. Like everything about this industry is founded on really strong relationships. So how do you build a bigger company but maintain that small business relationship? That's a challenge that we're taking head on.
Yep. We're expanding kind of, as I said, probably in previous episodes. Now we're trying to push more heavily into collaborations, education programs, and all this type of stuff for our customers. So that's a value add that we're providing. We've done it sporadically over the last 12 months just to gauge, and it's really, really effective. There's a lot of people out there that still don't know much about beer, that are pouring beers and all that type of stuff. So engagement in that, educating the staff, bringing them in here for a brew day, telling the process of creating beer.
Yep.
And 90% of them will always learn something or taste a style that they haven't had and understand it just that little bit more. So they can go back and, again, they can feel more confident in presenting not just our beer, but that style of beer to the customer, which, again, creates another experience at their venue for one of their customers as well. So,
and is that not something that is like standard across the industry? Like that, we're going to sell you our beer. Come and bring your bartenders in, so we can actually talk them through the styles and the origins of those beers, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, there are companies out there that do that, but I can't say that everyone doesn't do that or anything like that. We can only speak on what we do and the reactions that we get, and everyone loves it and everyone learns something.
Yeah, so
it
it's
just empowers them to be a better kind of person in the craft side of things. So.
It's more than going in there and saying our beer is amazing, which is, everyone can just say that. But, we're going to show you. We're actually going to show you why it is what it is. We're going to show you that we don't compromise on quality.
Exactly.
We're going to show you our processes and what we use, and these are our brewers and everything like that.
You can create the best product in the world. It could be beer that you drink and you just it's like gold. It's amazing. But if the person on the other end of that bar in the middle of wherever it is serving it that doesn't really understand it and can't talk to it, then the punter, the person who's receiving it, has an experience, and it's that. So our intention is to, how do we make that experience meaningful and connect with our brand? And as I said before about relationships, people are at the heart of everything. So it's how do you infiltrate that? And I guess the challenge, and everyone who's listening to this in the brewing industry will understand, is it's at scale, how do you manage that in an effective way?
It just sounds like they're the things that, there are things that are going to be uncontrollable. Like if people are selling their beer for a particular price or structuring things in a way that's doesn't help, well, you guys can't help that. But it just sounds like they're the things you can control. You can still control everything that goes on inside this brewery. You can still control everything that goes into your kegs and cans. And it just sounds like that's the approach that you're taking into 2020.
Mm-hmm. It is, and like we're doubling down on Oxford Street. It's an amazing place. We have a lot of people that are engaged that come here, and this is our beautiful opportunity to engage with them and talk and educate, and we're getting better at that as we kind of evolve as a company as well. Staff training, staff brew days, all those sorts of things. Like, it's just tightening the bolts on absolutely everything that basically translates to a great customer experience. Because at the end of the day, the only reason we're here is because all the people out there enjoy tasting our beer and drinking our beer and the pizzas. If they're not having a good experience or the product degrades in quality, then it's all over.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest challenge, I think, with scaling and growing and big expansion breweries and things like that, is you can't sacrifice quality and you can't lose sight of what you originally set out to achieve.
And having said all that, then, what is next in terms of expansion or things like that?
World domination.
World domination.